So when I was diagnosed by the top retinal specialist of British Columbia, I was told there was nothing I can do, even though he was, 45 blocks away from Dr. Yu, and Dr. Yu was already treating some patients at that time. So since then, I've met a lot of specialists, and in my experience, and I'm not casting any negative dispersions on Western doctors. Obviously, they provide an important service to people in British Columbia. What I will say, though, is that I think what we have doesn't fit into their realm of training. Retinitis pigmentosa, if you look it up in their book, is a treatment or is a disease with no treatment and no cure. And they feel it's important to not give people false hope. So I can understand that. That being said, when they see people like myself every year, it's interesting to see the difference in how some people approach that. So my optometrist, she's fantastic right off the bat. She was noticing that I wasn't getting any worse, and she was asking questions about that, and was very open to hearing about Dr. Yu and the TCM treatment I was receiving. She had in her hands the evidence that I'm stable, I'm not getting worse. I just saw her last week, and again, she took the retinal photos. I did the visual field test. She checked my vision and my prescription, and the word she used was stable. Everything is still very stable. Even the physical photos of my retina show stability over 12 years. I've even improved on the visual field test. So I've never had any issues with her talking about coming here, and she can see the evidence. My ophthalmologist was not quite the same. He sees the same evidence, but was not really a believer that I wasn't getting worse. Or I guess a different way to put it is, one time he asked me if I didn't have if I actually did have RP. He was questioning whether I had RP because I wasn't progressing the way that other RP patients that he has had progressed. I didn't know what to say to that question because it was their Western tests that told me that I have RP. So to be asked if I have it means, number one, that I'm not progressing the way that they normally see people progress. When I told him that I'd come here, he didn't respond. It took him 7 years of me seeing him every single year for him to finally look at the evidence in front of him, the physical evidence of stability, and turn to me and ask me, what was that again that you're doing in Vancouver? Who is this person? What's happening? So that was 7 years, 7 visits to him it took for him to, and every time I would tell him that I'm coming down here, but he never, asked any questions. I think that's a common, talking to people here, as we do, we talk a lot about our past experience and working with doctors that have diagnosed us. It's pretty common to hear doubt, or even worse than doubt, hear questioning, why are you wasting your money on this treatment, that kind of stuff. And happily, we can just kind of ignore that. That's, again, their training does not cover how to treat retinitis pigmentosa. If you're broken in some way, a bone is broken, they're a fantastic person to go and see. But we're not broken, our RP patients. We are dealing with a degenerative eye disease, but that doesn't mean we're broken. And so there's a lot more wiggle room in there than what they're aware of. And I really take a lot of pleasure in meeting specialists who have quizzical looks on their face when they see my results. And I'm always happy to tell them what I'm doing down here, and that there's people from all around the world who come here and have the same results as I do, which is improvement and gaining vision back and stabilizing this retinal disease. So it's hopefully one day it'll be more accepted on the Western side of medicine, and you won't need to go and explain yourself or be told that you're wasting your money on coming down here, because the evidence is there.